One of the things that I see a lot of is rib cage flares and breathing dysfunction. Okay, so I wanted to clear a couple of things up about that and maybe help some of you out there solve this problem, or just figure out if you even have this problem. Okay, if you're not breathing properly, then you're sacrificing your capacity to stabilize your torso and thus force. Okay, and you're also endangering your low back, right? Because if I'm breathing out into my rib cage, then I might get a little bit extension sensitive, where the facet joints in my back are slamming together over and over and over, especially if I've loaded the spine somehow. Okay, so I'm going to show you a little bit of a trick on how to figure this out. You're going to lie on your back, okay, and you're going to take a big breath in, okay? Okay, so what I want you to do is, when you're taking that breath in, hold it for a second, and then you're going to take your arm and you're going to slide it underneath your low back, okay? So, like that. All right, so I want you to pay special attention to the position that your back's in, okay? Because what happens typically when I'm evaluating an athlete is, an athlete with this breathing dysfunction, which is most of the people that I see, is when they take that breath in, they're using a lot of their accessory musculature, and you don't need to use that accessory musculature, especially if you're not under duress, okay, or if you're not exercising really heavily. But oftentimes we get trapped in this pattern. It's called a high threshold strategy, where you're using this strategy that you would typically reserve only for like fight or flight situations, or life or death situations, or high intensity exercise situations, and it's going to employ some of the extra musculature that's used typically for movement, but it's going to use that musculature to try and help you breathe instead, and it's extremely inefficient, and it's taxing on the system, including potentially dangerous to your low back. Okay, so what happens is you take that breath in, you slide your hand under, and if you can get your hand under your back, then you're likely trapped in this high threshold strategy pattern. Okay, so what you want to try and do is train yourself to breathe in a better position, or in a better, a more circumferential direction. Okay, because high threshold strategy breathers tend to breathe in and their low back extensors kick on, their hip flexors kick on, their accessory breathing muscles in the ribs, intercostals kick on, and they end up pulling into this overextended position, right? And what we're going to do is we're going to take the load off the spine. So bring my legs up and go ahead and reach behind your back, and if you still can slide your hand under there, let's go ahead and practice breathing circumferentially. I want you to put your hands right on your stomach here, or actually put them around your waist, your sides here. And when you breathe in, you should be able to push, you should be able to feel your musculature pushing your hands out, up and back all at the same time. That's called diaphragmatic breathing, right? And that's the type of breathing that's going to set you up in a good stacked position and not allow your spine position, or in a position to where you're more likely to create an injury. Okay, all right, so now that we've taken the load off the spine, if you're still able to reach under there, now I want you to go ahead and put your hands in that position, and you're going to take a breath in. Again, we're breathing circumferentially, so I'm pushing out, I'm pushing up, and I'm really focused on pushing back as well. Okay, so breathe out, shrink wrap your spine, breathe it again. Now when I'm breathing in, I'm holding it at the top here, and I'm going to try and slide my hand, and as you can see, I can't get my hand underneath my back. And that just demonstrates that my spine is in that nice stacked, safe position, and I've created more tension in this peritoneal cavity here, okay? And more tension in that area provides you more support, and that's going to allow you to create more force in your primary engines of your shoulders and hips, and it's going to allow you to be more efficient at mechanical ventilation, okay? So let's have you try that again. You're gonna take a breath in, circumferentially, reach underneath, and you'll notice that you can't get your hand under there. Now you've got the system in a good position. Now we're gonna load the system by bringing our legs up, and you'll notice that you should still not be able to get your hands behind your back. That is spinal bracing 101.